First love doesn't arrive with a perfect moment. It doesn't wait for a kiss or some grand confession. It starts small. A glance you try to hide. A joke that shouldn't be funny, but somehow is. A moment where your heart reacts before your mind even catches up. That's what makes it confusing and real. Gumball and Penny were never written as a fairy tale couple. There's no smooth beginning, no flawless romance. Their story is messy, full of awkward silences, jealousy, mistakes, and the quiet courage to forgive. And that's exactly why it works. Before they were ever a couple, there was something unspoken between them. Not dramatic tension, just that strange, uncomfortable feeling you only understand years later. In one moment, Gumball jokingly proposes during what he thinks are their final moments alive. It looks like a gag, but underneath, it's something else. He's testing a feeling he doesn't fully understand yet. The real shift begins later. Both sides pretend not to care. The girls act like they've moved on. The boys pretend girls are disgusting. It's childish. It's defensive. It's familiar. Then Penny asks Gumball to walk her to the cafeteria. Simple. Honest. Vulnerable. And he says no. Not because he doesn't want to, but because he's afraid of what it means in front of his friends. That's young love. Wanting something and being too scared to reach for it. Eventually, he tries to fix it. He climbs up to meet her, and for a brief moment, everything else disappears. No friends. No pressure. Just the two of them. And it goes wrong. It always does at first. But here's the thing. Even when the moment fails, the feeling doesn't. They're closer than before. That's what matters. Later, at a party, things get even more complicated. Gumball wants to ask Penny, but instead, he hides behind a bad decision. She does the same. And suddenly, what could have been simple becomes awkward and painful. Not perfectly, but honestly enough. And that's the difference. Because young love isn't about getting everything right. It's about not giving up after getting it wrong. When they finally go on a date, Gumball does everything he can to prepare. Advice from everyone. Practice for everything. He wants to be good enough. But reality doesn't care about preparation. The date turns into something completely unexpected. He panics. He messes up. He hurts her. And still, he tries to fix it. Not smoothly. Not impressively. But sincerely. And that's enough for Penny. Because effort, real effort, means more than perfection ever could. Even later, when outside forces start interfering, Gumball still hasn't figured it all out. He's awkward. He's unsure. He's still learning how to even talk to her. And honestly, that never fully goes away. That's what makes their story feel real. It's not about confidence. It's not about perfect timing. It's about chaos, misunderstandings, small moments that almost fall apart, and the quiet hope that somehow they won't. Because first love isn't clean. It's confusing, embarrassing, sometimes even painful. But if you're lucky, it's also the first time you realize someone might feel the same way about you. At first, Nicole's interference actually seems helpful. She pushes Gumball to stand up to Tina. She even tries to help him talk to Penny. But help, when it's forced, doesn't stay helpful for long. The moment Gumball is put on the spot, everything falls apart. He freezes, panics, and says the wrong thing. Penny walks away. Nicole, still convinced she's doing the right thing, offers one more piece of advice. And that's when Gumball finally snaps. He tells her to leave. And surprisingly, she does. For the first time, he's alone with his feelings. And that's when it hits him. He does like Penny. He just never knew how to say it. Now everything feels broken, and he has no idea how to fix it. So, naturally, he does what any confused kid would do. He overcompensates. Gumball joins the cheer squad. Not because he wants to, but because he thinks that's how he'll prove himself. That's how he'll look impressive. And somehow it works. Not in the way he imagined, but in the way that matters. Penny makes the team. She's genuinely happy. And more importantly, she understands. She sees through the chaos, through the awkward effort, and realizes the truth. He did it for her. Later, in a quiet, emotional moment, Gumball finally breaks down. Crying in his mom's arms, he admits everything he couldn't say before. The fear, the confusion, the denial. That's what young love really looks like. Not confidence, but vulnerability. Not perfection, but trying again after failing. And sometimes, having someone who knows when to step in and when to let go. By now, Gumball isn't just interested, he's desperate to prove he deserves her. During a medieval-themed school project, that desperation turns into a series of ridiculous attempts to impress Penny's overprotective father. Grand gestures, awkward gifts, over-the-top stunts. None of it works. In fact, it only makes things worse. But then the situation changes. When Tobias challenges Gumball to a duel for Penny, it stops being about approval. Now it's about something simpler and more honest. Fighting for someone you care about. The duel itself is chaotic and absurd. Broomsticks, trash cans, playground theatrics. Until, suddenly, it becomes real. In a split second, Gumball jumps in front of danger to protect Penny. No performance. No pretending. Just instinct. And for the first time, that's enough. Even her father sees it. Their relationship keeps evolving like this. Small fights, jealousy, misunderstandings. Until everything changes in one defining moment. It starts with a school play. A familiar story, Beauty and the Beast. Gumball plays the Beast. Penny plays Belle. And during the final scene, Penny goes off script. She leans in, ready to turn the act into something real. And Gumball panics. Instead of a kiss, he accidentally hurts her. It's awkward. It's embarrassing. It's completely them. But this time, the damage isn't just emotional. Backstage, they discover something unexpected. For the first time, Penny's shell is broken, and something inside begins to shine. Something she's been hiding all along. But she doesn't want anyone to see it. Not Gumball. Not Darwin. No one. Because this isn't just a secret. It's who she really is. When they get home, her worst fear comes true. Her father doesn't ask if she's okay. He doesn't try to understand. He just shuts it down. You don't know what you want. And just like that, she's hidden again. Not because she did something wrong, but because of what she is. That night, Gumball can't function. He doesn't eat. He doesn't move. He just lies there, confused, guilty, and overwhelmed. He wanted to be close to her, to support her. But all he did was break something. Then, quietly, Penny appears at his window. She tells him she's being sent away. And suddenly, none of the awkwardness matters anymore. There's only one thing left to say. The truth. For the first time, she reveals herself completely. Not the version everyone expects, but something radiant, glowing, alive. Beautiful in a way no one could have predicted. And Gumball says nothing. Not because he's afraid of her, but because he's overwhelmed. And that silence. Penny assumes the worst. Her form begins to shift, twisting into every fear she's ever had about herself. Rejection. Confusion. Not being enough. And Gumball realizes, if he doesn't act now, he'll lose her. So he runs. Through obstacles, through chaos, through everything in his way. He doesn't stop. Because for once, he knows exactly what he wants. When he finally finds her, exhausted and afraid, she asks the question she's been holding on to all along. And this time, he doesn't hesitate. No speech. No jokes. Just honesty. He kisses her. And everything settles. The fear disappears. The shifting stops. Penny becomes herself again, not hidden, not afraid. Just accepted. For who she truly is. Their families watch in silence as the moment unfolds. And in that moment, everything makes sense. Because this was never a fairy tale. It was never perfect. But somehow, that's exactly what made it real. By now, everyone already understands what Penny's shell really meant. But that's not why the moment works. Because the shell isn't just about Penny revealing her true self. It's about both of them finally dropping their defenses. Gumball stops hiding. No more jokes to deflect, no more pretending he doesn't care, no more fear controlling him. And Penny? She stops pretending to be someone she's not. For the first time, they meet each other honestly. No masks. No filters. This isn't a simple crush anymore. This is love. Not because it's perfect, but because it takes courage. But here's the truth no one talks about. Love doesn't suddenly make things easier. It makes them real. In the burden, they're finally together. And almost immediately, the pressure kicks in. Gumball wants to do everything right. He dresses up, fixes his hair, tries to become the perfect boyfriend. But reality hits fast. A relationship isn't just about two people. It reshapes everything around them: friends, family, dynamics. And when Gumball suddenly feels left out of those spaces, it stings. That's the real burden. While Gumball is caught up in his new world, Darwin is left behind, trying to make sense of it. At one point, he ends up talking to something ridiculous. A random clump of hair, treating it like a therapist. And somehow, in that absurd moment, he says something real. It used to be just the two of them. Now it feels like he's on the outside. That's not jealousy. That's loss. Eventually, they reconnect, not through some emotional speech, but through something silly they both believe in for a moment. And even when that illusion falls apart, they laugh. Because sometimes, that's how healing works. This part of the story isn't about romance. It's about what romance changes. Growing up doesn't erase your old connections, but it forces you to rebalance them. And if you're not careful, someone gets left behind. That tension explodes in the brothers. It starts simple. Gumball is excited again, dreaming about his next perfect moment with Penny. Where it'll happen, how it'll feel. But in that dream, when he imagines who is with him, it's not Darwin. And that's when everything breaks. Not because Darwin wants something romantic, but because he feels replaced. He's not just being clingy. He's grieving a version of their friendship that's slipping away. And the more Gumball tries to grow into something new, the more Darwin clings to what they used to be. He sabotages things, ruins moments, pushes Penny away. It's chaotic, over the top, even funny. But underneath it, it's painfully real. Because growing up doesn't just make room for new love. It forces you to redefine your oldest ones. Eventually, Gumball admits something big. He was planning to propose. It's childish, over the top, way too soon. But that's who he is. Someone who feels deeply before he fully understands what he's doing. Darwin doesn't judge him. He helps him. He sets everything up, builds the moment, tries to fix what he helped break. And of course, it all goes wrong. Completely. But when things fall apart, Darwin is still there. Pulling Gumball out of the chaos. Literally forcing the words out of him when he can't say them himself. Not as a rival. Not as someone competing for attention. But as a brother. As a best friend. Because at the end of the day, this moment isn't about romance. It's about something just as important. The realization that love doesn't replace the people who were there before. It just changes how you hold on to them. And if you're lucky, you don't lose them in the process. The Brothers is really about growing up the hard way. It's about being 12. And feeling things that are way bigger than you're ready for. At that age, emotions hit like they belong to adults. Even though you're still trying to figure out what they mean. And one of the biggest lessons it leaves behind is simple. Love isn't something you have to choose between. Romantic love, friendship, family, they can all exist at the same time. But only if you make space for them. After everything, the chaos, the failed proposals, the over-the-top attempts, you'd think Gumball would finally learn to slow down. To let things happen naturally. He doesn't. In the romantic, it only takes one tiny detail to send him spiraling. Penny used to send 3 heart eye emojis. Now, it's just one. And in Gumball's mind, that's basically the beginning of the end. Instead of asking her what's wrong, instead of just talking, he does what he always does. He overreacts. But this time, on a massive scale. He plans an entire city-wide romantic experience. A scavenger hunt designed to impress her. At first, it feels cute. A mysterious note. A little intrigue. Something playful. But then it escalates. Suddenly there's a flash mob in the mall. Crowds chanting, dancing, performing like it's a full-on musical. Penny goes along with it, but something's off. You can feel it. Confusion slowly replacing excitement. Then it gets worse. A bus ride turns into a dramatic poetry reading, which ends in a crash. A science project spirals into a literal monster. A simple dessert turns into a survival trip in the wilderness. Everything keeps going wrong. Bigger, louder, more chaotic, until it stops being romantic and starts being exhausting. By the time Penny is running through the forest, overwhelmed and pushed too far, it's clear, this was never about her. It was about his fear, because of a single emoji. But the real turning point isn't the chaos. It's what Penny realizes. Gumball cares. Too much. So much that he turns love into pressure, affection into performance. In trying so hard to impress her, he stops actually seeing her. And so she tells him, not harshly, not angrily, just honestly, stop. Stop the grand gestures. Stop trying to be perfect. Just be here. Because that's the irony of young love. It makes you want to go big, to prove something. What the other person needs most is something small, something quiet, something real. And in the final moment, as fireworks light up the sky, Gumball just stands there. No plan, no performance, no overthinking. Just present. Penny looks at him. A little tired, a little amused, but still there, still choosing him. Because young love doesn't survive on perfect moments. It survives on what comes after. When you mess up, and still show up the next day. And honestly, this is just the beginning. Gumball and Penny's story doesn't move in one straight line. It's a collection of small moments, awkward steps forward, misunderstandings, tiny wins. At that age, love isn't one big story. It's dozens of little ones, held together by overthinking, bad timing, and slowly learning how to listen. But that's a story for another time. So if you want a part 2, you already know what to do. See you there.